is an online journal aimed at provoking thought and opinion, with the hope to start and deepen conversations between communities and within communities, out of which we may become a better world.
And Dinesh, feel free to take 7 minutes.
I want to say how delighted and thrilled I'm here. Christopher Hitchens and I have debated a few times now, but never before such a large and enthusiastic crowd. So we are thrilled to be here in Orlando. And I will try to play Mickey Mouse to Christopher Hitchens as Goofy. Now, in a way, it's a little bit, to me, the question that we were asked is about God. And to me, it's a little bit puzzling that we've begun on this note about what we know and what we don't know, because to a very large degree, I agree completely with Christopher. We live in a world in which we know, I would say, far less than he even suggested. If someone were to ask you for definitive proof that you were alive yesterday, you can say, I remember being alive, but your memory could be faulty. Or that you are actually the child of your own parents. Or that other people have an independent existence from you. That the world was around 5,000 years ago. On all these questions, we have to make inferences based on limited data. So I would argue that the issue of God and the issue of science has the same root, which is to say, here we are, flung into the world, and suddenly we look around and we can imagine ourselves to be the first man, and we ask 2 questions. Number 1, how did I get here? And number 2, why am I here? How did all this get here? Why is it here? Now, I would argue that science is an attempt to answer one part of that question, which is the how question. If somebody said, how did the universe originate? Science will attempt to give a description of how it happened. But science leaves the other question, which is equally vital and pressing, untouched, namely, why? Why are we here? Why is there a universe? Why is there something and not nothing at all? And I think that the inference to God is a rational deduction, no different than science makes all the time on hundreds of other issues. For example, Isaac Newton confronted a mysterious phenomenon, which is the attraction of one object for another, gravity. And Newton could say that if you have 2 objects, they attract each other, but he was a little puzzled about how. Because how can one object reach across empty space and affect another object? So you can describe how gravity behaves, but Newton was deeply puzzled about what gravity is. And ultimately he said, I don't know. I can tell you how it works, but if you ask me what is it, I'm baffled. Gravity, you might say, is the invisible entity that Newton postulated to explain a seen phenomenon. Science does this all the time. 2 of the most exciting discoveries of our time are the discovery of dark matter and dark energy. Has anyone ever seen dark matter? Never. Has any scientific instrument detected it? Never. How do we know it exists? Because the galaxies hold together, and there's not enough matter in them to have the gravitational force for that to happen. So scientists postulate there must be some other kind of matter, unlike any matter we know, that's holding the galaxies together. Let's call that dark matter. And dark energy is postulated in exactly the same way. Something is causing the universe to expand at an accelerating rate. What is that? We don't know. Some force must be pushing it. Let's call that dark energy. If you add up dark matter and dark energy, what percentage of total matter and energy does it make up? 95%. All the known matter and energy in the universe is a mere 5% of what's out there. The rest of it is unseen. It is postulated to explain what we do see. And similarly, God is unseen, but God is the causal explanation of why there is a universe, why we are here. In other words, we know using common intelligence that something doesn't come out of nothing. The universe had a beginning. If you study physics, if you learn about the Big Bang, you will understand that not only did the universe have a beginning, space and time had a beginning. Space and time are properties of our universe. What does that mean? First there was nothing, and then we got a universe, and space and time to boot. Now interestingly, there was one group of people, and as far as I know only one, which is the ancient Hebrews, who said that. They said, first there was nothing, and then we got a universe. Now, the ancient Hebrews who said that didn't do a single scientific experiment. They basically said, God told me. And 2,000 years later, we discovered through science that they were basically right. So in other words, to me, God is the ultimate explanation. Science answers the question of how, but God answers the question of why. Thank you very much.
And now, here's rebuttal. How long do I have this time? Good grief. All right.
The how, the why, the beginning, the end, all of these things are linguistic superimpositions on things we don't understand in the least. And Dinesh at least was good enough to concede that the ancient Hebrews weren't even guessing when they said what he now
So conceitedly says from his side, science has vindicated a guess that was made in the dark. That's not a method of any kind. It's not a logical method. It's not a scientific method. Well, suppose we start from the other end, which is all I've got time to do in 2 minutes. Why is there so much nothingness coming our way? Edwin Hubble was the first to notice not just that Newton's theory was wrong, that things are expanding away from each other at an extraordinary rate, the so-called red light shift, but that those Newtonians who agreed, all right, the universe is expanding and exploding away from itself so fast that soon we wouldn't be able to detect the Big Bang, were wrong in thinking that at least the rate of that expansion and explosion would be decreasing by now. It's not, it's increasing. It's flying apart at a fantastic rate. A gigantic amount of nothingness is coming towards us, as is, as you can see it in the night sky, the Andromeda Galaxy, on direct collision course with our own, but probably that won't happen, you'll be glad and relieved to hear, before our own sun swells up, destroys itself, and undergoes a heat death, which will mean that the oceans boil. And the people who watch that, or rather the organisms who watch that happening from Earth, won't be human, as has been pointed out by many scientists and astronomers. Our Earth probably has another equivalent of its existing time to go through, and the organisms that see that happen will be as different from us as we are from microbes. The belief in God has exactly no use, precisely zero explanatory value in considering these extraordinary matters and these grand questions, which, I repeat this, as those of you undergoing higher education, you have no right to close your minds to. If you say you already know, and you already know what the first cause and the last cause is, what are you doing with your education? Think about how much you have still to find out. Don't go with the ancient Hebrews.